Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 18th day of October 2019. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable evening, restful night, and that you're all raring to go today. Those of you who are credit union members and those who support the credit union, I trust that you enjoyed International Credit Union Day yesterday as well. Credit union in the Cayman Islands, a huge asset to its members, and urge you to continue to support the credit union here in the Cayman Islands. If you're not a member, inquire how you may become a member. And there are several ways, including having family members who are credit union members. And as a result of that, you will be able to join through your familial connection, with them. So, and, with all of the stresses and strains coming from other financial institutions here in the Cayman Islands, you will find that life with the credit union in many instances, may be better when compared with other institutions as well. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're a cyclist, whether you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we do recognize that government schools are out, and as a result of that, it is expected that less traffic will be on the roads of the Cayman Islands. I would venture to say that despite the fact that in the summer we see a reduction in traffic at certain times of the day, but highly unlikely that you're going to see a substantial or a significant change in the traffic flow during this period as well, simply because the number of cars in the Cayman Islands, the number of drivers, number of vehicles in the Cayman Islands have increased, and we will continue to experience that. If I get an opportunity today, I will share with you a PRO column in the Tradewinds newspaper dated the 21st of October 1965, talking about traffic in the Cayman Islands, and it'll share with you a little historical information in relation to the importation of vehicles in the Cayman Islands and the importation of the first vehicle in the Cayman Islands in 1917, a one-cylinder vehicle imported by a gentleman, and I won't tell you his name now, but if you think that you know the name, you can certainly send us a WhatsApp and let us know, and I'll give you that WhatsApp number earlier. But the PRO column was a column, and PRO, those acronyms stand for Public Relations Officer, and that office was created and occupied by Mr. Ernest Panton once he left his post as the assistant administrator. So I will try to share that with you this morning as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open, and there is always someone there waiting to take your calls. This morning, it is that radio voice of Mr. Paul Akal. You can also known as Silver Fox. That's his radio name, Silver Fox. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, you can email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. So that WhatsApp number is 925-3261, 925-3261. So if you know the name of the individual who imported the first vehicle into the Cayman Islands, send us that name on our WhatsApp number as well. We have no guests in the studio yet this morning. The opposition members will not be here. Dr. Steve Macfield should be coming in. If he does come in, when he does come in, he will be able to be here with us until 9:30. On short notice, I have also extended an invitation to the Veterans Association. They had been in contact with me in relation to being on the show. Of course, they have their big ball, their big gala taking place tomorrow night. If they were, and we do realize that they're going to be extremely busy today preparing for that. But if they do have the time, they will come in around the latter part of the show to talk about their organization and their events as well. Also in Memorial Day is coming up fairly soon as well. And conversation may go along those lines as well. One of our listeners has written in and said, OC, traffic is 100% better with all the schools on the break. So there is still significant and visible change in traffic when school is in and when school is out. So we know to a certain extent where to focus our attention if we're looking for at least short-term solutions to our traffic problem, where to look for that. It has to do with this traffic, people going to work as well as people going to school at the same time. When Dr. Macfield comes in, we want to talk about the proposal for the establishment of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. We in the Cayman Islands sometimes complain when things are done and when we feel that we have not been sufficiently consulted on these issues. And I thought that it is extremely important for us to start the dialogue about this. We know that at the end of the day, the decision as to whether or not to establish a regiment in the Cayman Islands will be up to the people of the Cayman Islands. That those are our politicians as well as public input. And I thought it would be extremely important for us to discuss that proposal because we have already seen misinterpretations in relation to what is being proposed or what can result with the formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. So we want to talk about that as well. But for now, we have to take a commercial break. When we return, I will share that PRO column with you in relation to importation of vehicles and traffic in the Cayman Islands in 1965. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
By the 1900s, the people of the Sister Islands had developed a reputation of being profound shipbuilders, as well as some of the best seamen and navigators around the area. Reverend H.W. Rutty attributed this success to the Sister Islands' first regular school teacher, a castaway named William Johnston. Johnston settled in Cayman Brac in 1863 and taught navigation, as well as the 3 R's, not only to young pupils, but to grown men as well. By 1908, the Sister Islands were home to 21 master mariners, as well as 15 skilled shipwrights.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
540 months.
16,425 days.
394,200 hours.
45 years.
That's how long we've been committed to serving you, and we won't stop there. Over the years, we have proudly grown with Cayman, making a difference in the community. That's why we're here, to stand by you.
We are Cayman National.
And we thank you for standing by us for 45 years and counting.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Congratulations, I hear the family is expanding.
Yes, our family is growing bigger, but I don't know how we're going to get around. Our old car just doesn't have enough room.
You should head over to Vamp Motors and ask about the Toyota Rush. It's a 7-seater SUV with lots of room and safety features, and it's on sale for just $21,900.
Rush in to Vamp Motors for the best deal of the year on the Toyota Rush SUV. Save up to $2,600 with Vamp cashback and the Toyota factory rebate going on right now. Fuel efficient, stylish, roomy, and loaded with safety features. The Rush is the perfect SUV for you and your family, starting from just $21,900. Visit Vamp Motors and drive your deal home today while stock lasts. I'm starting my shopping early this year. What do you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Have you seen the latest
Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. Talking about the various topics I mentioned earlier about the credit union and International Credit Union yesterday. And one of our listeners wants to big up Swanky as well. And Swanky performed at International Credit Union. They had a credit union here in the Cayman Islands as well. So big up to Swanky, one of our local bands, extremely popular here in the Cayman Islands as well. Also, one of our listeners wrote in and said that the first vehicle that was imported into the Cayman Islands was owned by Mr. Pat Alonso, also known as Mr. Pat Henderson, and that is correct as well. And as promised, hope I have enough time to read this column. I'll share this with you. And like I said, this is from the October 21st, 1965 edition of the Tradewinds newspaper. And again, I want to give credit to Miss Joellen Thompson, who has provided me with electronic copies of the Tradewinds newspaper. And she, of course, obtained many of them from Miss Ardith Smith, who was employee of the Tradewinds newspaper, and at one point in time was the correspondent for West Bay as well. And of course, Miss Ardith Smith came from a very prominent Georgetown family as well. So the PRO column, like I say, PRO, the acronyms stand for Public Relations Officer, a post that was occupied Mr. Ernest Panton after he retired from government as an assistant administrator. And this column reads, it says, laws are made for the peace, good government, and safety of the people. This week, I should like to refer to our motor vehicle laws. Some of us will remember that in the year 1917, the first motor car was imported into Grand Cayman. It was a one-cylinder Cadillac brought in by the late Mr. Carroll Henderson. Its engine was the seventh to be built by the Cadillac Company in the year 1910. Pat Henderson, Mr. Carroll's son. Okay, so here it is. So Carroll Henderson and Pat Henderson, two different people, two different persons, father and son. So the column goes on to say Pat Henderson, Mr. Carroll's son, has the engine on display in his filling station. What excitement there was in Georgetown the day the car landed. Hundreds of people watched it unloading from the small vessel that brought it from Isle of Pines, Cuba. So that's where it came from, Isle of Pines, Cuba. Once it started to circulate on the road, children chased it for miles. Some hid from the sight of it. Older people jumped fences, even climbed trees to get out of its way. To get a drive in it was really something to boast about. Today, there are over 1,000 motor vehicles in the island, and almost every ship from the U.S. brings a few more. Does that sound familiar? Almost every ship brings a few more. Today we would say almost every ship bring a lot more, not a few more, but a lot more. So in 1965, about 1,000 vehicles in the Cayman Islands. The column goes on to say it was Mr. Andrew H. Gerard, administrator in 1956, who in an address to the Assembly warned that with the increasing number of cars being then imported and with the advent of blacktop roads, if the driving laws were not respected and every precaution taken by drivers, pictures of loved ones killed in road accidents would be seen hanging on the walls in homes of many Caymanians. Sad to say, his words have come true in several instances. But should they continue to hold good? Not if every motor vehicle driver exercises vigilance, caution, and observes the terms of the motor vehicle laws. Hardly a week passes, but what one sees or hears a motor vehicle being wrecked on the roads. However, the occupants escape death at times is a misery. Or how the occupants escape death at times is a mystery. Our small police force is doing its best to bring motor vehicle offenders to justice, but the police cannot be everywhere. The courts have imposed heavy fines, taken away licenses for breaches of the law, but all this does not seem to help a great deal. Do let us remember that he who will answer to the rudder must answer to the rock. That's an interesting saying. I never heard that one before. He who will answer to the rudder must answer to the rock. I believe I know what is meant by that. Why do some drive at such a fast and careless rate? Motorable road mileage in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac is so small from one given point to another that the distance can be covered comfortably within the speed limits. So many drivers seem to be always in a hurry and anxious to overtake the other to get there first. Get where? To the next stop, or the hospital, or the graveyard. Drivers should always bear in mind that they have their families to think of. They have a duty to perform towards other drivers who are trying to be careful and keep within the law. That bicycle rider and pedestrians have an equal right to safety on the roads, that there are buses laden with innocent school children on the roads daily who must be protected. It is said that it isn't the used cars that are menaced on the roads. I have to take a break there because we're going to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, I will share the remainder of this PRO column written by Mr. Ernest Panton, 1965, published in the Trade Winds newspaper, edition 24 1st of October 1965. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Price Right. Live better for less.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Priced Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Access and information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With a look at Radio Cayman's morning news, I'm Dion Anglin. The Cayman Islands government and DECO consortium announced capping and covering the main mound at the current Georgetown landfill, which is expected to start early next year, 2020. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego has more.
A joint statement on behalf of the Cayman Islands government and DECO says the terms of reference for the Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, was submitted to the Environmental Assessment Board, EAB, this month, along with the remediation options report for the Georgetown landfill. The statement adds that the EIA will focus on the design and impact of the proposed facilities because the policy, strategy, and outline business case for the integrated solid waste management system went through a period of public consultation before receiving final government approval. There are a number of facilities on the list, including a waste-to-energy facility, a materials recovery facility, a green waste composting facility, a construction and demolition waste facility, and a bottom ash processing facility. The plans include an end-of-life vehicle and scrap metal processing facility, a household waste recycling center, and a residual waste landfill. Government and DECO anticipate the EAB will complete its review of the draft terms of reference over the next few weeks. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
To facilitate capping and covering the main mound, tipping operations will be moved to lower areas of the existing landfill where there is sufficient capacity until the new facilities are ready. In other local news, the third annual Stood Up Fair is right around the corner, and the Department of Counseling Services Family Resource Center is putting the call out for students to help take a stand against bullying.
This will be our third year doing the Stood Up Fair, and it will be held at the new John Gray High School Gymnasium. And we're aiming this fair for students from primary school age to high schoolers, and we have specific themes around there. So we want the kids to show us their best work in terms of bullying policies, how we can get the word out in terms of stopping bullying or preventing bullying, and how we can get the children involved in making these decisions for us. Or help us make these decisions.
FRC's program facilitator, Renee Ebanks, tells Radio Cayman projects will feature a wide range of strategies to educate others on the types of bullying and appropriate responses to bullying behavior. Ms. Ebanks says the hope is that the exhibits will inspire greater awareness and more robust preventative measures in schools and in the workplace. Registration deadline has been extended to Tuesday, October 22nd. Project submissions must include positive and safe messages with a clear anti-bullying message. For more details, you can send an email to frc@gov.ky, or you can call the Family Resource Center on 949-006 or visit www.frc.gov.ky's website. And today is the last day to sign up for Pirates Week National Song Competition. If you have a passion for music or just looking to do something adventurous, Pirates Week manager Melanie McField encourages everyone to take part. She hopes the event will be an opportunity to display the talents that reside on our islands.
Cayman has so many talented persons here, and Pirates Week is one of the, if not the largest cultural event that will allow you to showcase exactly what you have to offer. And we want to encourage people, to come out of their their shelves and show us what you have.
But if the thrill of competition doesn't cut it for you, maybe the prize will entice you to take a chance.
Well, $10,000 in cash is quite an incentive. What I want people to understand is you could be a songwriter and write 3 songs and have 3 different people sing those songs, and you could be first, second, and third place winner.
If you or someone you know is interested in applying, head on over to piratesweekfestival.com. With a look at your regional news, here's Carib Updates, Wendy Chateau.
The authorities in the Jamaica capital, Kingston, are scrambling to come up with measures to prevent logistical problems with Friday's staging of Kanye West's pop-up Sunday service at Emancipation Park. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation on Thursday admitted there is not enough time to fully plan for the event. Robert Hill, CEO of the Municipal Corporation, said he was informed Wednesday that the event will be taking place there.
And for a look at news elsewhere, here's the BBC's Jonathan Izard.
The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is attempting to drum up parliamentary support for the Brexit deal he's secured in Brussels ahead of a crucial extraordinary sitting on Saturday. The government says it maintains frictionless trade within Ireland and between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. A deal proposed by the previous Prime Minister, Theresa May, was rejected 3 times by Parliament. Speaking to the BBC, the Shadow Finance Minister for the main opposition Labour Party, John McDonnell, said this one was even worse.
We won't vote for anything that makes our constituents and our country poorer, and by any assessment, that's what this deal will do. It will introduce checks and barriers at our border. It is worse than Theresa May's deal because it removes those commitments that she was willing to offer about a level playing field to protect workers' rights, environmental standards and consumer rights. So it's a very bad deal.
That'll take us out of Radio Cayman's Morning News. I'm Dion Anglin.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Sagicor. Let us put a smile on your face. Call 949-8211.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Dress up or dress down in pink for the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Breast Cancer Awareness Month Dress Pink Day on October 25th. Get your pink items at the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Pink Shop in Elizabethan Square, which will be open daily from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pink items include t-shirts, polo shirts, hair accessories, caps, and lapel pins. Funds raised from the sale of the pink items go towards paying for mammogram screenings. The Pink Shop is located in the front of Elizabethan Square, facing Shedden Road. Dress pink with the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens on Friday, October 25th.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Some special known curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadena Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning, K-Man. Let's take a look at your latest weather. All compliments of our friends at Super Stitch. Present temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Last lights and low was at 79. Skies are partly cloudy. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 5 knots. Barometric pressure now at 101.3.1 and rising. Relative humidity 71.8%. Synopsis, light winds and smooth to slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. And the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on potential tropical cyclone 16. More information can be found at www.nhc.noaa.gov. The system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. Our forecast for today, mainly fair skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights less than 2 feet. Later on tonight, mainly fair skies, very little chances of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights less than 2 feet. High tide is coming up at 12:36 this afternoon. It's going to be low at 7:02 this evening and high at 11:41 tonight. For tomorrow, low tide is at 6:38 a.m., high at 1:57 p.m., and low at 8:51 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 5:59. Sunrise for tomorrow at 6:21. And the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning. The latest weather is provided by the Cayman Islands National Weather Service.
Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
Thinking of decorating your home or your apartment? Then Super Stitch is the place for all your household needs. We have sheets, comforters, bathroom accessories, curtains, and a whole lot more. We are the original curtain store with curtains for every room in the house. Some special now curtains for $10 a panel. Yes, just $10 a panel. Come see us today at Super Stitch. Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadena Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
Saturday, November 2nd, Breeze Fusion 2019.
Are you ready? Yeah. The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run. Bigger and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run
and a 10K run for half marathon trainers.
Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO.
Yes, Cayman Islands, it's back. Your chance to be healthy. Your chance to give back.
Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studio.
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
I like to move it. You like to move it. The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Taking place at Smith Bacadere, starting at 6:15 a.m.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Of course, big thanks to Subway taking care of our traffic report this morning. Good movement of traffic coming out of the east, a little bit backed up in certain areas where traffic is expected. Going through South Sound, there good movement of traffic as you get closer to Georgetown, up to Walker's Road. Experience some slow-moving traffic as you get nearer to Georgetown. Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is moving good in some areas, then slowing up. Taking a roundabout onto Agnes Way, you'll experience some slow-moving traffic, the traffic merging off from Crew Road. Huldah Avenue, very much busy. North Sound Road as well. Coming off the Esley Tibbetts Highway, good movement of traffic. Streets in Georgetown getting very much busy. Shedden Road, Godfrey Nixon Way, Eastern Avenue, Edward Street, all other streets you can think of. If you're coming through Windsor Park, expect some traffic. Make way through Oak Mill and onto Smith Road. Buckle up, stay safe, and stay off those smartphones. Traffic report, of course, brought to you by our friends at Subway.
Pizza. Everybody loves pizza. And now at Subway, you can customize your personal pizza with Subway's always fresh ingredients. Maybe you're a carnivore and want to pile your pizza with fresh pepperoni, chicken, or salami. Or for the veggie lovers, add fresh tomatoes, onions, spinach, and olives. There's so many great combinations. Pop into any of Subway's 7 locations and customize your fresh hot pizza with all your favorite fresh ingredients. Now, with 3 locations open 24 hours. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The Pirates Week National Song Competition is back Saturday, November 9th. This exciting cultural event showcases the best talent in the Cayman Islands with $10,000 in cash to be won. If you've got the lyrical and vocal skills, visit piratesweekfestival.com to enter today. Entry deadline Friday, 18th October. The Pirates Week National Song Competition is sponsored by AI Rentals, Ace Hardware, the Ministry of Culture, the Tourism Attraction Board, and the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association. This ad is brought to you by Radio Cayman.
Vehicle owners are reminded that the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing amnesty will expire on November 1st. The amnesty provides a waiver of back fees for unlicensed vehicles. If you plan to keep your vehicle on the road, keep your plates and visit the DVDL. If you are discarding your vehicle, dispose of it at the landfill and drop your plates off at the DVDL. For more information, contact 945-8344 or visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. We will continue the conversation. Getting more confirmations that traffic is flowing much more smoothly on the roads of the Cayman Islands, vehicular traffic that is, flowing smoothly, and no doubt as a result of some schools being out. I believe all schools will be out next week. I'm saying this guardedly, that for now, it is only government schools, and next week I think it will be all schools for the midterm break, but I stand to be corrected on that as well. I've been sharing with you PRO column in the Trade Winds newspaper, 21st of October, 1965, and in it the public relations officer, Mr. Ernest Panton, used a phrase that one of our listeners has pointed out to me and explained it. It's, who won't be ruled by the rudder must be ruled by the rock. And they point out that it is a nautical saying, meaning that someone who refuses to be guided will encounter disaster. That is the rock, disaster as well. So I want to thank that listener for that explanation for me. Goes again to show you maritime history here in the Cayman Islands. So many knowledgeable people, so many people know so much about maritime issues in the Cayman Islands as well. So I will continue to read this column, and I believe we have a WhatsApp message that we will share with you later on as well. So the article, the column goes on to say, it is said that it isn't the used cars that are a menace on the roads, it's the misused ones. Overtaking cars on corners is a very bad thing to do. Parking of cars near to corners and at other odd places should be stopped. trucks which take up a lot of space on the road, sometimes fully laden, should be driven exceedingly cautiously. The various traffic signs should be carefully observed. The PRO goes on to say, I was pleased to learn about the newly formed Cayman Islands Taxi Drivers Association. So it seems as if the Taxi Drivers Association here in the Cayman Islands was formed somewhere in 1965. For those of you who are members of the Taxi Drivers Association, a little bit of history for you. He goes on to say, I am certain one of their aims will be to observe to the fullest the motor vehicle laws. They will, for the most part, carry overseas visitors throughout the islands. Do let them be driven in comfort and safety. Finally, in a lighter vein, if a woman wants to learn to drive, don't stand in her way. So, again, Mr. Ernest Panton was being a little bit light there. It seems as if in those days, not many women drove. We know that we had one very famous taxi driver in the Cayman Islands, female taxi driver in the Cayman Islands. Also, she owned rental cars as well. That would have been Miss Sunbeam Thompson, very, very famous taxi driver. And of course, other taxi drivers in the Cayman Islands, people like Mr. Ira Thompson, Mr. Conrad Hilton, Mr. Nemard, to name a few. I'm running a risk here of missing some people out by calling names, but those were the prominent ones. Mr. Everard Miles, and all of them, their vehicles were always spotless, clean, immaculately clean as well. But I'm sharing this article with you to show you where we have come from in terms of vehicles and the issues that we faced then. And some people may say, you know what? We haven't come a long way, because the same issues that were being aired and concerns being raised in 1965 are the same issues that we're having today, only on a much larger scale as well. The number of accidents in a day, probably proportionately the same as they were in 1965, because believe you me, we had lots of car accidents then. I have known and heard stories and I have known of cases where a vehicle came straight off the docks, from off the ship, and was wrecked before the end of the day. We had frequent vehicle accidents in the Cayman Islands, and we're having them today as well. So again, whole question of traffic in the Cayman Islands. If you want to talk about something of national importance, that is one of the issues that is of national importance as well. What do we do about the traffic situation in the Cayman Islands? Do we continue to try to build more and more roads to accommodate the traffic, or do we at some point in time say, folks, enough is enough? Let's stop this madness. Let's try to take control of it. We're falling way behind when it comes to the type of vehicles that we're importing into the Cayman Islands. We're not looking to the future as much as we should in relation to reducing our carbon footprint. We're still sticking to fossil fuel vehicles as well. All of those things need to be considered. Paul, let's go to that voice note that we have, folks. Here's one of our listeners.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. O'Connor. Greetings to your audience. I just would like to say, I think the credit union should open to the public and not be in a closed society, you know. I think if you want to help the people, That's how you help the people. You don't have it as a close community. You're opening it to everyone, so everyone can participate because that's how credit union is run around the world. Okay, sir. I like your show. Keep it going. Keep the iron burning. Keep beating the iron. Yeah, man. Beat it while it is hot. Yeah, man. More power to you, Mr. O'Connor.
I want to thank that caller for that as well. Now, as far as the credit union, I'm not certain whether or not, based on their bylaws and based on the laws of the Cayman Islands, when it comes to financial institutions, whether or not they could simply open up their membership to all and sundry, and that would certainly bring them in direct competition with other banks here in the Cayman Islands. Also, I think the credit union would be assuming so much more risk when extending to others, but at the same time, there are risks associated with even the membership that they have. So as long as the rules are the same in relation to the shares that you have to have, your participation, your activity, and your contributions, that it could be possibly be extended. But I have no information on that. If anyone from the credit union is listening in, we would be more than happy for you to share that information with us, because that information then is not only just shared for Radio Cayman and for the record, but for our listeners as well, who those like the caller who feel that it should membership in the credit union should be opened up to other members of the public, not just for government employees, employees of statutory authorities and government companies and some other utilities here in the Cayman Islands, whether or not it should be opened up to all and sundry. All I can say is that being a member of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Credit Union, Cooperative Credit Union, that there are many benefits to be derived. But what it is also members helping other members, so that the profits of the credit union, they are distributed amongst the members, as opposed to financial institutions where the profits go to their shareholders in the form of dividends. Credit union, the dividends go to its members. And in December of this year, next few months, members will get a dividend based on, and that amount, the amount that they get will be based on the amount of shares that they have within the credit union. And depending on how much you have in shares, those dividends can be substantial and can be put a big bulge in your pocket during the Christmas season as well. For some reason, I think we have gone off the air, so you're probably not hearing this me at this moment, or some of you may not be hearing. We'll try to see if we can determine what the issue is from a technical standpoint, and we will certainly get back to you with that. In the meantime, I'm sure that I can continue to talk, because we also are streaming live as well. I did mention to you that we wanted to talk the formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands, and I will start that after we come from the 8:30 break by reading an article in relation to the government's announcement of this issue. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Congratulations, I hear the family is expanding.
Yes, our family is growing bigger, but I don't know how we're going to get around. Our old car just doesn't have enough room.
You should head over to Vamp Motors and ask about the Toyota Rush. It's a 7-seater SUV with lots of room and safety features, and it's on sale for just $21,900.
Rush in to Vamp Motors for the best deal of the year on the Toyota Rush SUV. Save up to $2,600 with Vamp cashback and the Toyota factory rebate going on right now. Fuel efficient, stylish, roomy, and loaded with safety features. The Rush is the perfect SUV for you and your family, starting from just $21,900. Visit Vamp Motors and drive your deal home today while stock lasts.
As a Caymanian, it's very important to me that projects like this are thought of thoroughly before continuing.
My question is, do we need it? And I've not yet been fully convinced that we need it, nor have I been fully convinced that we don't need it. So
what guarantee do we have that these ships are going to continue to come?
Please make the right decision.
Please don't let the catchy songs overturn you. Please support the referendum. Please ensure that you are supporting sustainable tourism, not just money-making tourism.
If the project plans have changed, even though it might be insignificant on paper, it's going to be significant for the environment.
They need to release official information, official facts.
That's where I am right now. I want to know, I want more information on do we need it.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm going to share with you an announcement made on the 14th of October 2019 in relation to the creation of or the development of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. And it reads, the Right Honourable Mark Lancaster, TD-MP, the UK Minister of State for the Armed Forces, His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper and the Premier Alden McLaughlin, today announced a proposal for a Cayman regiment. Following discussions over the last 10 months between the United Kingdom government and the Cayman Islands government, the minister traveled to Cayman this week to meet with the governor and the premier to discuss first steps in establishing the Cayman regiment, which would improve, and this is important to listen to, which would improve security and disaster management capability in the Cayman Islands and the region. A team of UK military and civilian experts from the United Kingdom Ministry of Defence and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office plan to deploy to Cayman before the end of the year to conduct an operational needs assessment. This scoping exercise is required to take the project forward and will ascertain the level of UK support required. Initial assistance from the UK is likely to take the form of logistical advice and support, but will develop further to include operational training and equipment. Minister for the Armed Forces Mark Lancaster said, quote, "The UK enjoys a close and historical bond with the Cayman Islands, and through helping to establish the island's 1st Regiment, we are strengthening this relationship even further. We are committed to the safety and security of the overseas territories. Having worked with regional partners in the response to Hurricane Dorian, we have demonstrated both the depth and the commitment and value we place on our partnership in the Caribbean. I am delighted that the UK can help establish a Cayman regiment." Governor Roper said, quote, "I am delighted to be able to announce this exciting new initiative, which is a further example of the strong and enduring Cayman and UK partnership. The establishment of the Cayman Regiment will help reinforce hurricane assistance and disaster relief capability in the Cayman Islands, as well as the other overseas territories and across the region. It will also help bolster security more generally and help to develop skills amongst Cayman's young people and provide a further avenue for the cadets when they reach the age of 18. Premier Alden McLaughlin said, quote, "Having a specially trained regiment in Cayman would have a positive impact on youth development and leadership on the islands. It will also give a boost to security and increase our resilience on disaster management and the support we could offer around the wider Caribbean. I am pleased that the UK are keen to support this initiative, and we welcome their expertise and involvement." The UK has worked side by side with the Cayman Islands on relief efforts both during the response to Hurricane Irma and Maria in 2017 and more recently with Hurricane Dorian. The minister was able to personally thank the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and the Air Operations Unit for their involvement and hear about how they worked with the Royal Navy and the RFA Mounts Bay. There were also discussions about border security issues and development of the Cayman Islands Coast Guard and what further assistance the UK can provide. So that was this, the release in relation to the announcement that was taking place. Now, I'm going to go back for a second and read something. The last paragraph. The UK has worked side by side with the Cayman Islands on relief efforts both during the response to Hurricane Irma and Maria in 2017 and more recently with Hurricane Dorian. And I don't want to be critical. I know it's going to sound critical, and it is extended. It is intended to be critical to a point, but just to bring out a point and why I believe that a lot of this is happening and developing now. No mention is made of 2004 and Hurricane Ivan. We know that Hurricane Ivan was not only a disaster for the Cayman Islands, but it was also a disaster for the United Kingdom in terms of their demonstration of their inability to respond adequately and timely to natural disasters in the Caribbean. Because we know that several Caribbean islands were hit. Some of those Caribbean islands were independent countries, but still a part of the Commonwealth and still a part of the UK's area of response. we know that by the time they reached the Cayman Islands, most of their resources had already been exhausted. So no mention of 2004, because I believe that what they're trying to do now, what is being attempted now, is also to address those shortcomings that existed in 2004 when we encountered Hurricane Ivan as well. So that is a good response to it. Now, why am I starting to talk about this? Well, the article points out that a team of UK military and civilian experts from the United Kingdom Ministry of Defence and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office are planning to deploy to the Cayman Islands before the end of the year. We're in October, so we have 2 more months before the year ends. So they're going to be here. We also note that in one paragraph it reads that following discussions over the last 10 months between the United Kingdom government and the Cayman Islands government, that the minister traveled to the Cayman Islands. What this doesn't clarify for me is whether or not within the past 10 months, discussions were also being held about the formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands, or whether or not that discussion only took place last week when the minister was here. I believe that it is extremely important for not only the government of the United Kingdom, the government of the Cayman Islands, the opposition members of the Legislative Assembly in the Cayman Islands to be engaged in this conversation and to have input, but also the people of the Cayman Islands need to be engaged in this. They need to be engaged in it not only to the extent that you have town hall meetings to tell us what is going to take place, but to have meetings and consultations on what should a Cayman Islands regiment look like, what it should be comprised of, how, because it will affect families in terms of their commitments of their children to serve. And depending on the structure that is actually established, it could, and I say this guardedly, it could involve military service. To what extent, we don't know. But we also know that depending on what we choose, military training will also be provided in addition to response to natural disasters like hurricanes and everything. One of the reasons that I wanted to have Dr. Steve McField here with me was because Dr. Steve McField was one of the strong proponents, and still is, of national service and some type of some type of entity similar to a regiment. We also know that Dr. Steve McField was involved with the Cadet Corps, and was a part of either the consultation or the management team in terms of establishing the Cadet Corps here in the Cayman Islands as well. We see where the commandant of the Cadet Corps has welcomed this initiative, and it's certainly, we see also mentioned in this press release that it will help to bolster security more generally and help to develop skills amongst Cayman's young people and provide a further avenue for the cadets when they reach the age of 18. There is no doubt that there are other organizations in the Cayman Islands that could benefit and could be used as a stepping stone towards this. The Scouts. We have other organizations, male and female as well. And one of the questions and one of the decisions that would have to be made also, is it going to be an all-male regiment, or will it be comprised of males and females? These are decisions that will have to be made. Those are consultations that have to be held with the people of the Cayman Islands as well. Folks, time to take a commercial break. When I return, we will continue with discussion about the possible formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What do you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
Few people speak up when they witness cyberbullying. Logic is proud to present The Change Project, a 50-minute documentary that captures the reality of cyberbullying and the mental health impact on teens, parents, teachers, and families. It's part of a campaign that strives to make a difference in the community by promoting responsible internet and social media use in the Cayman Islands. Screening is at the Camana Bay Cinema on Friday, October 25th at 7 p.m. Afterwards, please join Logic for a family-friendly gathering at Abacus. RSVP to eventpro.ky.
CUC advises customers on Pedro Castle Road in Savannah that they will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Thursday, October 24th between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Areas affected include all customers on Pedro Castle Road from the junction Sandy Ground Drive, including West Lane, Adams Lane, Charity Lane, Pedro Villas Lane, and all side roads. The Cayman Islands Baptist Church, Pedro St. James, and some customers on Sandy Ground Drive will be affected by this outage. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when using Pedro Castle Road, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in the area and will be deploying rumble strips and signage to manage the traffic flow. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to facilitate required overhead infrastructure upgrades to provide our customers with safe, reliable, and efficient power. For more information on the outage and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. So we're talking about the proposal to form a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. And we have been advised that these discussions have been taking place with the United Kingdom government over the past 10 months. We're not certain whether or not it has to do with the regiment itself or on other issues, but the UK Minister of State for the Armed Forces did visit the Cayman Islands last week and make an announcement that they were looking into the formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. The minister also pointed out that a team from the UK military and civilian experts from the United Kingdom Ministry of Defence, as well as the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, plan to deploy to the Cayman Islands before the end of the year to conduct an operational needs assessment. The scoping exercise is required to take the project forward. In order to move it forward, that scoping exercise is necessary and also will ascertain the level of UK support required, and pointed out that initial assistance from the United Kingdom is likely to take the form of logistical advice and support, but will develop further to include operational training and equipment. Doesn't say anything about the financial aspect of it, and of course it would appear it's quite possible that the Cayman Islands will bear that financial responsibility. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that, because he who pays the piper is able to call the tune as well. So while we require the technical expertise and we may require equipment and other things, other funding, I believe that we should really provide that ourselves, which gives us, much more control. We have one caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Osi.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very thankful. I just I was reading the newspaper this morning, and again took grave offense to what I read, to one article I read.
Mm-hmm.
That article says the Verdant Isle Group is going to be holding job fairs. These people have no respect for us. They have no respect for democracy in these islands. Because basically, they're telling us that this port is going to go ahead whether or not we, the voters of this country, by way of referendum, vote for or against. They're going to proceed. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm,
You having a job fair. You having a job fair, right? With something that's under the microscope, and it is just like the easiest way to put this one is the guy who is charged with an offense and is before the court, and the deliberations is in the hands of the magistrate, and you're making plans to go Miami next week Friday, but you're possibly going to be sentenced on Thursday.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Come on. I mean,
Did they indicate when that job fair is going to take place? When?
Thought they said it was the end of this month or yeah, I think.
But definitely before the referendum takes place.
Before the referendum, it is a disgrace what is happening here. They should not even be here. They shouldn't be in this island out there to promote. See, let me tell you something, right? You know why the standard in public life haven't come in effect yet? A lot of people will go to jail here. A lot of people will go to jail. It is ridiculous what's happening in this little country. Ridiculous what is happening. There is no more any regard for the rule of law and order in this country, right? It is just lawless. But they know why they don't want to bring these kind of things in. Why they don't want to bring them in. Bring it in. Why not bring it in place?
Mm-hmm.
Why not bring it in place? Huh? Why not bring this
It needs to be.
So
It
my
needs to
nephew
be.
gonna go jail.
It needs to be,
Yeah,
caller.
I tell you that, OC.
It needs to be. And caller, not interrupting you, but the I don't know what PR firm this group has employed, but they have made so many. They have bungled so many things so far. If you want to win the minds and the hearts of the people in terms of getting them to come around to your thinking, they're certainly, to a certain extent, not doing that, even though they may appear to be trying to do it, because while they may think that they're responding to those persons who are saying, what are these jobs? Tell us what these jobs are. At the same time, they're irking people like you because it's taking your vote for granted and you haven't yet voted as to whether or not this project is going to move forward.
Exactly, OC. And I mean, this is one of the things that really, really hurts me as the voter. They show no respect to me. I'm a voter. I'm a Caymanian, okay? I didn't come here and got a passport or got some cabinet to give me status. I'm a Caymanian, generations of Caymanians. And when we look at this whole thing, now, see, one of the things, right, that I hear advertising is that we don't have to pay for this port because the government is going to, in other words, we're going to be giving those guys the money that we would be making and some, but we can't hear what the sum is. We can't hear what the sum is, right? And you see, this is why I keep accusing this government is being as transparent as mud. See, if I am going to, if you call me today and say to me, I want you to bid to build 30 apartments for me, and I want you to tell me why you should be given this job, I'm going to come with my best PR to you. I'm not going to come to you and with no transparency. I want this job. I want this job to build these places for you. So I'm going to come with my best selling points. This is what I've done, OC. This is how I can manage. I got all this in place, and here's here, and that, and but there's nothing like that is forthcoming from the government.
While I still have you on the line, caller, I noticed also where announcement has been made in relation to moving forward as far as the West Bay Police Station is concerned. I know it's in West Bay. Any indication of whether any work is going to go to the people of West Bay or contractors who are in West Bay? Any idea who the contractor is going to be yet?
No, the well-needed West Bay Police Station, and I say well-needed because I once worked there, and I can tell you it is no paradise. A well-needed West Bay Police Station. They've got the site clear right now, but as usual, it is the big guys that will get jobs like that, not us, the small guys. We wouldn't dare be even given a chance to bid on that. So yeah, that would go to one of the big conglomerates, and but I think that it's just in the stage where it's going to go to cabinet. They're going to present the plan to cabinet for cabinet approval, and I'm sure that no cabinet in the world would, or certainly within these islands, would turn down a West Bay Police Station that is so well needed.
Yes.
I mean, those guys don't even have parking space down there, let alone have a good functioning station. So yeah, that's well needed.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for your
Thank you
time.
very much. Enjoy your weekend. All the best.
And
Stay
you.
safe.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Folks, we reached the top of the hour, 9 o'clock headline news. When we return, the conversation will continue. Dr. Macfield has an earlier court time than anticipated, so he will be unable to join us this morning. So I will be batting on the regiment all by myself, but I will have lots to share with you. Again, don't have to reinvent the wheel, and I will share with you some things about the Bermuda Regiment. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Several government agencies and nonprofit organizations have come together to form the Alliance to End Domestic Violence. The Alliance, whose membership consists of agencies which have a mandate relating to persons who have experienced domestic violence, aims to enhance the support for them and further educate the public on the impact domestic violence has on the society as a whole. A Brexit deal has been agreed to between the United Kingdom and European Union negotiating teams before a meeting of European leaders in Brussels. Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweeted, quote, "We've got a great new deal that takes back control." The two sides have been working on the legal text of a deal, but it will still need to be approved by both UK and European parliaments. A BBC chief political correspondent says the DUP will not support it. And the BBC has been told that the Turkish president has put U.S. President Donald Trump's letter, quote, "in the bin." In the letter dated October 9th and sent after U.S. troops were pulled out of Syria, Mr. Trump told President Erdogan, quote, "Don't be a tough guy, don't be a fool." On the day the letter was received, Turkey launched a cross-border offensive against Kurdish-led forces in Syria. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
No guests in the studio. Dr. McFeel has an early court date this morning, court time, so he's unable to be here. Haven't heard from the veterans whether or not they will be able to make it in. So our phone lines remain open. We do realize that some people are experiencing some difficulties with our transmission. We did lose our transmission, working on it. Not sure whether or not it has been restored yet, but we're still streaming. You can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. And also our WhatsApp number, still working, 925-3261. Leave us a text message, send us a voice note. One person, several persons have chosen to do that this morning already. Here's one more. They point out that Transparency International has, and that is an entity that looks, monitors and addresses transparency, government transparency worldwide, and it says that Transparency International has proven that government corruption worldwide is born at the cabinet level. So it's born at the executive level. Transparency International has proven that government corruption is worldwide is born at the cabinet or executive level, and that is in caucus. And then it points out that then civil servants do not blow the whistle on them for fear of losing their employment. And whistleblower legislation, I have to look and see. I believe that there's some form of protection for whistleblowers here in the Cayman Islands as well. And we see basically what is taking place in the United States now. And you can certainly expect more and more of that to happen as well. What is also happening from an international standpoint is the press and press freedoms, and we see more persons investing in the media, newspapers that are losing financially, but their backers, their owners, have lots of money to burn, and they're using it in a positive way. For instance, when you look at the Washington Post and the New York Times, they're now owned and financially supported by billionaires. So the threat of funding for them is no longer there, and we're seeing more and more informative, accurate reporting, reporters being able to use sources being much more willing to come forward because they feel that they're going to be protected as well. So more and more of that is happening, and we have to continue to keep governments accountable. We have to keep them accountable. I'm told that we're back on air as well, so I want to say kudos for those who work to get us back on air. So you're hearing us now, and you can also hear yourself when you call in and talk also. So we always talk about participatory democracy, and that term is used continuously, but there are others who believe that much more than participatory democracy, that we want to have participatory governance. Now, some may say, well, they're the same, and I would respectfully disagree that participatory governance and participatory democracy are completely are quite different. Still, okay, have enough time before we go to the next break so I can share this article with you as well. Talking about, again, the formation of a regiment here in the Cayman Islands. While we do not need to reinvent the wheel, it is extremely important. My view is that it is extremely important for the people of the Cayman Islands to have a say in what they want to see in a regiment. Do they want it to include male and female participants? The length of time that a person should spend? Who should be able to join the regiment? Remember, we have a lot of work permit holders here in the Cayman Islands. We have a lot of people who have permanent residence. We have a lot of people who possess Caymanian status, and we have a lot of indigenous born, raised, and bred Caymanians as well. Who will be able to participate? The number that we want. How will we get the numbers that we want? Do we do it by conscription? Do we do it by having people volunteer? Do we do it as a part of national service when you reach, let's say, the age of 18? If you're going off to university, are you exempted and allowed to go off to university? And then when you return, then you serve your weekends or whatever in the regiment. If you're not going off to university, could be a stepping stone for you in terms of if you want a career in law enforcement. So many things to talk about that, folks. This discussion has to take place. A team is coming down here in 2 months' time. Don't want to hear you now in January and February calling up and talking about what is being proposed. This regiment is this regiment is that. What is being proposed is this, what is being proposed and that. Join the discussion now. Get into the discussion. Find out from your members of the Legislative Assembly what it is all about. If they don't know, let them get the information for you and start talking about it. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Peter Schmidt here.
Good morning, Mr. Schmidt. How are you?
You know from the time you start mentioning regiment and stuff, that's something that I I feel very strongly about because I've commented on the past.
Yes.
I think a national service would be fantastic for the Cayman Islands. But I do believe it should be essentially on a conscription basis.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you with the deferment for people that are going off to tertiary education. I think it should be a residential program. In other words, build barracks somewhere and have them have the conscripts or the recruits or the whatever we want to call them reside there, with the entire structure being there. There are so many lessons that could be taught to young people, and most likely to the ones that are least likely to volunteer, that could serve them through life. They could pick up so many skills. Just think of what it takes to maintain essentially military camp without necessarily, we don't need any heavy weapons or anything like that.
Right.
But you need transport, you need housing, you need the troops need to be fed, they need to be clothed, all kinds of maintenance things, all kinds of building skills, and the various recruits could be assigned to different units. They could do so many things. I mean, we haven't had a serious hurricane here for quite a few years.
Yes.
So making the primary purpose an emergency response is, in my opinion, not necessarily the best thing. I think the overriding idea should be to build better citizens.
That's correct. That's correct.
And
yes.
that is my strong feeling on the topic, and of course.
Any views on in terms of who, from a residential standpoint, who should be allowed to join? Should it include? Should it be restricted to permanent residents and Caymanians?
I think it should be Caymanians and people that would have. Perhaps it could even serve as getting some points towards becoming. Having Cayman status once you have permanent residence. But I agree that the people, if you are going to use conscription, and we have to recognize that attracts a cost to government.
Yes.
Okay, a substantial cost. But I think we should not look at it as a cost. We should look at it as an investment in our people, because so many young people now that are they are difficult to hire because of what they bring to the table. Okay, they don't have the basic skills. Many of them cannot handle an 8-hour workday, and I'm telling you that from experience because I've been involved in it. And many of them don't have the self-discipline or never learned it to stick to it, and not just walk off. Just most recently, I just got information that a person for whom I had put in a lot of work to get him into a position where he could build a lifetime career, after a few weeks, because he was not already being advanced, he walked off. And then when he wanted to return to his old job, that door was closed. And then he came back and said he would like us to take them back. And he's apologetic because he made a rash decision without thinking. Well, if you build responsible citizenship and responsible young men, then, or young men and women, then I think we can hopefully avoid some of that in the future and have a stronger core of Caymanians to run the Cayman economy in every way, because the fundamental skills that they will learn in a basic training, in a boot camp type situation, will position them in life to where at 40 or 50 years of age, they are ready to take the helm of the country, which is what we need.
Yes.
Okay, and so I feel very strongly about it. We in Switzerland, where I come from, and of course we have conscription. I went through that, and they call that where you turn boys into men.
Yes.
So I feel very strongly about it. and I'm glad to see that it's happening. I'm hoping that the focus and the aim will be in the right direction.
Yes, and we hope and trust that they will seek to get input from the public in terms of their views and their feelings on this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Time for us to take a commercial break. Paul, anyone on hold? No one on hold. When we return, I will read an article for you, Bermuda, where the minister in December of 2018 provided an update on the Bermuda Regiment as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
I'm starting my shopping early this year. What you want for Christmas?
All I really want for Christmas is for my packages to arrive on time.
Plan ahead to get your shipments into Seaboard Marine on time and avoid the holiday rush. Check out their great less-than-container shipment rates. Seaboard saves you time, money, and convenience with consolidation and repacking options available. Take a load off Santa this holiday season. Shop, ship, and save on your small packages with Seaboard Marine. Give us a call at 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com/grand-cayman for quotes or additional details.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Radio Cayman 3 to 6 mix on the weekdays.
Tune in, turn it up, listen.
Sponsored by the Cayman Islands Football Association, SIFA, building a better future for Cayman football. Savannah Pharmacy. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Every day. All the time.
Ultimate party show in the afternoon. Radio Cayman Super Jam.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. Before I keep my promise in relation to the article on the Bermuda Regiment, one of our listeners has written in, and I also want to point out that we're now back on air on 89.9. We're back live there as well. It says here in relation to whistleblower protection, there is protection under the Data Protection Law 2017, which came into effect on the 30th of September 2019. So only the end of last month, data protection legislation came in to effect, and there are provisions there protecting whistleblowers. The writer goes on to say two issues I would like to bring up. One, please ask why is WORC, Work Database, still not working as promised? And I do believe that they're in the process of changing their location as well, but not sure that should have any effect on the database. So they want to know why is WORC database still not working as promised. Said this is something agreed upon unanimously since Vision 2008 was passed in the LA in 1998. The performance of WORC thus far is nothing shy of alacrity and hot air, and is a major letdown to our people. So WORC, some people are saying you need to get on the ball. And number two, we wish to know respectfully, what is Cayman Airlines doing about the useless leases of the 800 MAX aircraft? We, the people, are very afraid of the amount of our funds being dumped into the bottomless pit, and that is CAL. Yet Boeing has announced that CAL's third 800 MAX is on its way here. Please, can we have some answers? Certainly, very relevant and reasonable questions that are being asked, and in the interest of transparency, because this has nothing to do with trade secrets and whether or not your competition will know what is going on. The people of the Cayman Islands, whose money it is that is being spent on these jets that certainly help the Cayman Islands from a tourism standpoint, help us to be less dependent on foreign carriers as well. So they're extremely important to us, but it is also important that the people know what is happening with their money and how it is being spent. In the corporate world, even in companies that are traded on the stock exchange, those holders of stock have the right to know what is happening in their companies. The executive, they're accountable to their shareholders. The executive of Cayman Airways, they're accountable to your shareholders. Your shareholders are the people of the Cayman Islands. They want to know about the leases. They want to know whether or not you're going to be compensated for all of the lost time, and why, if it is true that the other aircraft is ready for delivery, what are the answers in relation to those questions as well. Paul, do we have a caller? Any caller, Paul? Okay, I'm going to share with you. The minister provides update on Bermuda Regiment. And I'll say very quickly, and this will probably come up in the update as well, but Bermuda Regiment, since 1965, after the amalgamation of the Bermuda Rifle Corps and something else, they ended up with the Bermuda Regiment. So Bermuda has had a regiment since 1965. And like I said earlier, we do not have to reinvent the wheel. So here's the Minister for National Security of Bermuda, Minister Wayne Keynes, in December of last year, providing an update on the Royal Bermuda Regiment to the House of Assembly. And he's quoted as saying the Royal Bermuda Regiment has been hard at work focusing on transforming into a modern-day organization fit for purpose in Bermuda. I'm going to stop there for a second. That's the same thing that we should be saying, or similar, in the Cayman Islands, that we should have a modern-day organization. If we're going to have a regiment, it should be a modern-day one and fit for purpose in the Cayman Islands. Fit for purpose in the Cayman Islands. And we could extend that further and say also fit for purpose for us to render assistance to our Caribbean neighbors, our Caribbean brothers and sisters as well. So we could add that to it. So in Bermuda, that's what they're doing. So the minister said, after consultation with the Ministry of National Security and Government House in this case refers, that's the governor, the regiment's Strategic Review Working Group concluded its work and made several key recommendations. First of these recommendations is that the regiment must redouble its efforts to invest in its people. To this end, the regiment is reinforcing its training wing so that training is delivered to a higher standard and externally validated where possible. Soldiers will pick up more qualifications and have greater opportunities to attend courses both overseas and in Bermuda. Pausing for a second again, that's that paragraph. One word that is used there, soldiers. They use the term soldiers for the Bermuda Regiment. If and when we establish a regiment here in the Cayman Islands, do we want them to be called soldiers? That's a fair question. We need to know what we want those persons who will be serving in a regiment, what we want them to be called. Because the word soldiers has many connotations to it. And we have seen and heard in the past in the Cayman Islands an aversion towards any type of military orientation. That was expressed with the Cadet Corps, bearing in mind the age restrictions within the Cadet Corps. But we know that several years ago, when it seemed as if some of the Cadet Corps members were being trained with mock rifles, that there was an uproar against that. So, again, just saying, we need to decide what we're going to call those members of the regiment if and when it is established. Do we want to call them soldiers? So I will move on. Second, the regiment aspires to offer learning credits to soldiers who are in good standing in order to further their education and development, growing the capability of the men and women who make up the regiment can only result in growth of the capability of the regiment as a whole. And we heard one of our callers, Mr. Peter Schmidt, speak positively about that and what it could be done as well. And what is instructive in that particular paragraph is the fact that the Bermuda Regiment is made up of male and female members as well. I'm going to interrupt myself there because we have a caller, and our callers always take precedence over everything else. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yes, just fine, thank you, sir. I agree 100% with Captain Peter Schmidt there. I think it's a necessary thing. It should have been done a long time ago. A lot of us have been saying that. We know there's a lot of opposition about it from some sectors that, this military idea and so forth, and a peaceful people, yes, but peace comes at a price. We know that. It comes at a price. And it should be a properly organized thing. The big island of Jamaica, yes, we all had a huge regiment from in the 1700s, late 1700s, and the man who read out that document pertaining to abolition here on May the 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th of 1835, he was a captain from the regiment from those days, and that's a long time ago. And he was a colored man. He was not a white man. I know we depict him as a white man. He was not. You can check the records for that. He accompanied the British governor here in Red Out. But, and there are several, I can think of many Jamaicans who were in that regiment. And there was regiments, Jamaica regiment in the Second World War in England and so forth. So it's not just after independence. And I knew who became the man in charge became Brigadier General David Smith. But he was in there as a colonel before, and the late Spencer Marshall, here, his older brother, Major Oliver Marshall. I remember him very well with his handlebar mustache and all that. And he was serving like in the reserve after the war. I think he became a captain during the Second World War in Britain with the British military and so forth. And there are others and Caymanians here who served. And so there is nothing new about us having a sort of military bearing. And I think it should be made up also. And this would be mandatory service. Man, you might get help for this, but I would, I guess. But mandatory service for those kind of low-risk prisoners and things like that. And the guys on the street who are running about, it would have saved a lot of them becoming criminals and bums out there hanging around. And they should be conscripted into this thing. And, and get that, as Mr. Smith was saying, the discipline. You have proper boot camp sergeants. You have Sergeant Major here, who was a Marine. We all know that. And there are others. And you have the people to we can bring in people for they're saying, suggesting, to train them.
So, caller, you believe that it should be conscription? Because in some articles that I have seen, they've pointed out that conscription was ended in the United Kingdom. So the United Kingdom now consists of, all volunteer armies. So conscription in many democracies is out of the window now. It was one of the situations that Bermuda faced as well and was challenged in the courts, even though the challenge was not successful. But at the end of the day, the government of Bermuda did listen to them, and as a result, they changed the format in terms of recruitment. So,
I understand that, but I was only talking about conscription of people who have run afoul of the law. And are not, you understand what I'm saying? Not out here shooting up people or something. That's different. They have to serve their time and do the proper court justice and so forth. But I'm talking about the court could be involved, the major to sign it over, whatever is required legally. But, I mean, voluntary, of course, you'll have like the cadet corps. Every country has a cadet corps, and it's based on developing officer material. You have West Point in the U.S. and so forth for the Army. And you have the Naval Academy. That's, oh boy. That's my train of thought with that, but they have that here.
That's in Annapolis. In Annapolis, yes.
In Annapolis. And then, because I have a grandnephew who is a U.S. Special Forces, he's a ranger, and he's done 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan. And I have a grandniece who left here at 7 months old. She's a sergeant major in the Marines. She's a Ben and so forth. So you can, I see no reason why we can't and have them trained in the arms, handling arms. What's the use of a soldier if you can't handle an arm? And then this is it. The discipline, though, you derive from it. That's a necessary thing. I just wanted to ask you something quickly.
Yes, sir.
Mr. O.C. With regards to when we say the referendum will be legal with the petition having more than the 5,000 or whatever it is voters, the 25% of the voters on the voters list. Is that at the time when they handed it in? That 25%.
It would be 25% of the voters list that was in effect at that point in time, I believe, in effect at that time. That would have been.
So therefore now, does that same voters list, would it be applicable that the amount of the 50% plus 1 would reflect to 50% plus 1 of that same amount of voters?
That would be 50% plus 1 of the voters registered that is in effect at the time of the referendum.
Yeah. Okay, just see it that straight, because I mean, there is reason to say that it should be that way.
Yeah.
So the other thing is this. I just asked, there was a letter written in the Caymanian Times on Monday by, it seems a lady wrote it in support of the pier, and also it explains a lot of things and reasons for her writing it. I think it's a wonderful letter, and I think everyone should read it, that letter, and maybe I should read it out on the radio, because what she said in the letter is spot on. It's just like what Mr. Fleming said about us. When I say spot on, those 62 years ago in the two little paragraphs, what he said we were then and what we would become, he was spot on. And she's spot on in that letter. I must commend that person. And I believe people should read it. It was in Monday's Caymanian Times. I'm glad they call it Caymanian Times. Good. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much as well. Folks, we're a little bit past the commercial break, but we'll take it now. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Okay, where Ezekiel is? I can't tell the last time I seen him.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you where old Heart is, because I didn't see her in a long time.
It's okay. She pack up her bags and she gone England, my dear. Claim she gone looking work an opportunity.
Brown Ezekiel gone England to do the same thing, looking work.
Some Caymanians claiming they can't find work here at home, so they packing up and running to cool Britannia.
Well, that is why we need that new cruise berthing facility. It going to bring a whole lot of jobs when they're building it and when they're running it day by day by day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First, they're going to have all kind of construction jobs, and then they're going to need more taxis, more tour guides, more craft vendors, more people working in the shops, more of all kind of jobs. Look here, the thing going to be a major source of employment for Caymanians.
I am sure then both Ezekiel and Old Heart can land a good job doing good work because of this new cruise berthing facility.
Brownick, get on the telephone, call Ezekiel and Old Heart, tell them plenty of work is going to be available in Cayman. Now is our time to shine and truly be Caymankind.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Looking forward, looking bright. Support our port, support our tourism.
The Pirates Week National Song Competition is back Saturday, November 9th. This exciting cultural event showcases the best talent in the Cayman Islands with $10,000 in cash to be won. If you've got the lyrical and vocal skills, visit piratesweekfestival.com to enter today. Entry deadline Friday, 18th October. The Pirates Week National Song Competition is sponsored by AI Rentals, Ace Hardware, the Ministry of Culture, the Tourism Attraction Board, and the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association. This ad is brought to you by Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I've been sharing with you an update on the Bermuda Regiment that was provided by the Minister for National Security in December of 2018. And that update included the fact that there were recommendations that had been made. And some of those recommendations including that they would redouble their efforts to invest in people, that also the regiment would aspire to offer learning credits to soldiers who are in good standing in order for them to further their education and development. And the third recommendation I will give you now, which was the structure of the Bermuda Regiment would change to better reflect the operational output and its volunteer status. And he pointed out that in November, the regiment reduced from 5 to 3 companies to form 2 operational companies of about 100 soldiers each, supported by a logistics company and training wing. Internal security in support of the Bermuda Police Service is the focus of A company, while B company has a dual focus on humanitarian aid and disaster relief, both locally and overseas, and on ceremonial duties, including band displays. So they formed 2 operational companies of about 100 soldiers each. One, which was A company, would provide support for the Bermuda Police Service, while B company would have a dual focus on humanitarian aid and disaster relief, both locally and overseas. The minister goes on. We have a caller on hold. I'm going to just finish this and then we'll take the caller. The minister also pointed out that in the absence of any direct hits by major storms during the just concluded hurricane season, the regiment has been able to direct its focus on enhanced training. There were 2 camps held, A company, the band, and signalers completed the second half of their local camp. So they did have camps as well. So that was an update in relation to the Bermuda Regiment and where they were moving forward. I also will share with you later on, because the Bermuda Regiment did come under intense pressure, scrutiny, and in some cases opposition as well. And there were those who came to the defense of the Bermuda Regiment as well. But before we go there, let's take the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, morning, OC. This is Darwin. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Not too bad. Just something for you to think about. What Captain Smith said was very, very true about discipline and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody they call in about these things is very, very true about teaching them discipline and all these things. I don't know if you know this, but Costa Rica doesn't have an army.
Right.
And the money that they take to put on an army, they put in education.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it'll be. I would hope our government could check this out to see what kind of discipline their young people get with not having an army before we decide to put a regiment together, because of course, eventually it will cost us money. So well,
that would depend. That would depend on which direction we go with it. If it's just for you to serve a certain period of time, let's say, for instance, if it's used to serve on weekends or whatever, then you would pay for the time that you would be paid a stipend for the time that you have served.
You're right. What about getting our cadets really involved in that since we got them there?
Okay. I think you missed it earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
In reading the statement that was put out by government in relation to the minister's visit here and everything, they did point out that it would serve as a stepping stone for from the cadet corps, because the cadet corps you go up until age 18, and then the regiment would probably be 18 years of age and above. So they see that as a transition point for the cadet corps as well. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, okay, yeah, but I just sort of would point that out to you just to where.
So your position would be: do you think that something along the concept of a regiment would be good for the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, it would be good because just like Captain Smith said, about training and all these things and discipline, which definitely, basically, that would definitely fill that position in.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm looking towards on what it will cost us. If we decide to go that route, because we always kind of sort of jump into things.
Well, we not only want to look at the cost, but we want to look at the benefits as well. So there should be a cost-benefit analysis of it. But I think in terms of the humanitarian and the human aspect of it, that something like that can certainly make a lot of us much better and productive human beings.
Oh yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. I mean, it's like when we went to sea, the same thing. I mean, it really made men out of us.
Mm-hmm.
So but anyway, I just thought I would throw that.
Thank you very much for that. Very, very, very good contribution. We have another caller. Let's take our last break for the morning, Paul, and then take the caller, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Congratulations, I hear the family is expanding.
Yes, our family is growing bigger, but I don't know how we're going to get around. Our old car just doesn't have enough room.
You should head over to Vamp Motors and ask about the Toyota Rush. It's a 7-seater SUV with lots of room and safety features, and it's on sale for just $21,900.
Rush in to Vamp Motors for the best deal of the year on the Toyota Rush SUV. Save up to $2,600 with Vamp cashback and the Toyota factory rebate going on right now. Fuel efficient, stylish, roomy, and loaded with safety features. The Rush is the perfect SUV for you and your family, starting from just $21,900. Visit Vamp Motors and drive your deal home today while stock lasts.
In 1996, Rotary Club Central led the way initiating a disaster fund to prepare and assist our community toward recovery. The Rotary Clubs of the Cayman Islands then expanded this valuable instrument, the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund. Thereafter, Rotary District 7020, a group of 86 clubs over 10 countries in 16 islands across the Northwest Caribbean, grew this idea, the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Today, this Rotary Central idea has worked relief and recovery, assisting communities throughout this region. Rotary, with you before, during, and after. Rotary, connecting the world.
The government claims the cruise berthing facility won't cost us a penny. It will be paid for by the cruise partner who use it, not by our people or our government.
The fact is, you will be paying.
Because government is going to give the consortium development team, led by Royal Caribbean and Carnival, a portion of the cruise revenue that is currently being banked by government.
What's more, we will be repaying them
$450 million.
$250 million more
than what the facility even costs.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
I guess I'll start, Ray. Are you ready?
I think so.
Pirates
and Pirates Week.
Or Pirates, Politics and Piracy?
No, just Pirates Week.
Just Pirates Week, yeah.
Pirates Week is 42 years now, 1977.
1977?
Can you imagine?
So is all last century.
Yeah. I had to think about that one. We're gonna talk about pirate history. Bloody Bay. Bloody Bay in Little Cayman. Actual pirate story.
Bloody Bay? What about West Bay?
West Bay is all pirates. We know that.
Okay. So Bloody Bay.
Bloody Bay in Little Cayman is a pirate story.
Huh. So history, you gotta be teaching me something.
Yeah.
See What I'm Saying is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
So this Friday,
See What I'm Saying.
See What I'm Saying, brought to you by Cayman National Bank.
Did pirates actually go,
I don't know. We're not sure. We don't have too much recording of them.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning and we have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, ma'am.
I would like to make a comment and a correction about the cadet.
Okay.
This is from experience now.
Mm-hmm.
my granddaughter, my only grand is a daughter, and she joined from the very start. And at 18, she was asked to consider helping with the training.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, she was already sergeant, okay? But she said no, she wanted to learn more. And she is now 21, and she is still in there.
So you're saying that they can go beyond 18?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for
Yes.
that. That
Yes,
helps.
sir. Yes. I'm proud of her, and she's proud of me, and proud of knowing that I love Radio Cayman.
Okay, and the fact that she's decided to stay in for a longer period of time must show that she's enjoying what she's doing there, yes?
And she's now training.
Excellent.
Oh, see?
Uh-huh.
And she is now training.
That is good to know. Good to know,
Yes,
caller.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. You enjoy your weekend as well. Folks, I had a choice between sharing two articles with you. One had to do, well, this one was old. This one was in 2013 when members of the former commanding officers of the Bermuda Regiment came in defense of the Bermuda Regiment at that time because that was when it was being challenged, the whole idea of conscription. But there is another article in the Royal Gazette, and this one is dated the 16th of October 2019, just recently. The writer is Owain Johnson Barnes, and it is entitled Regiment Ready to Help the Cayman Islands. And it reads, the Royal Bermuda Regiment is ready to... Lost it. Coming back. Bear with me, please. Please bear with me. Okay. The Royal Bermuda Regiment is ready to help the Cayman Islands as the country plans to introduce its own regiment. In a statement last night, Government House said the governor is aware of the proposed establishment of a Cayman regiment to help reinforce humanitarian assistance and disaster relief capability in the Cayman Islands as well as the overseas territories across the region. Governor is quoted as, "This is an area in which the Royal Bermuda Regiment has much operational experience, having deployed to Cayman in 2004 to assist in the recovery after Hurricane Ivan, and more recently to Turks and Caicos in 2017 in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. The Royal Bermuda Regiment stands ready to assist and share its experience with the opposite numbers in the Cayman Islands and the wider overseas territories where appropriate. According to the Cayman Islands News Service, according to Cayman Islands News Service, yes, Alden McLaughlin, the Cayman Islands Premier, announced intentions last Friday to create a Cayman regiment to improve security and disaster arrangements. He told the media that the country had considered adopting a Bermuda-style regiment more than a decade ago, but at that time the UK did not support the idea. Mr. McLaughlin said, quote, having a specially trained regiment in Cayman would have a positive impact on youth development and leadership on the islands. It will also give a boost to security and increase our resilience on disaster management and the support we could offer across the wider Caribbean. And he's quoted as saying, I am pleased, that the UK are keen to support this initiative, and we are working and we welcome their expertise and involvement. And then it goes on to talk about what Cayman Governor Martin Roper had to say in that regard. But here we see that the governor of Bermuda has pointed out that the Royal Bermuda Regiment stands ready to assist us in terms of the establishment of that regiment as well. And I would venture to say, even though I have no evidence of it, but I do not believe that the governor of Bermuda would simply make those statements without first having had some discussions with someone. And I'm sure that with both the Cayman Islands and Bermuda being overseas territories, that the UK would certainly co-opt them into assistance as well. Okay, still have enough time to read for you in defense of the Bermuda Regiment. 2013, this article is, and at that time, the Bermuda Regiment came under great scrutiny in relation to the whole issue of conscription. I think they had a lottery system in place for that. And it says this letter from some of the Bermuda Regiment's commanding officers was sent to the Royal Gazette. It says, "Dear Sir, the recruitment process by which the Bermuda Regiment sustains its strength has been maligned in recent years to such an extent that our political establishment wishes to make a change. The process being used at the moment is that in the first instance, volunteers are sought." So in the first instance, volunteers are sought. If there are insufficient volunteers, then conscription is used. Conscription has served a very important purpose to recruit the number of people required for the regiment to fulfill its roles. The regiment has 4 roles listed in the Defense Act. The first and most important is to support the police in time of civil unrest or disobedience. I'm going to pause there for a second, and you can understand that being the case in Bermuda. Remember, 1965 is when the Bermuda Regiment was started. In the 1960s, the late 1960s, 1968, Bermuda had the theater boycott, because remember, Bermuda was a racist society. They discriminated against black people at that time. So the possibility of unrest, not only the possibility, they had unrest then. So the first and most important role for the Bermuda Regiment at that time was support the police in time of civil unrest and disobedience. And then to carry out this role, the regiment requires more than 400 personnel of all ranks. The number of people volunteering to join the regiment actually has been fewer than 30. Some of those only volunteer because they believe they will otherwise be conscripted at a future time. If conscription is abolished, then where are the necessary personnel going to come from? Not volunteers. The vast majority of officers, warrant officers, and senior non-commissioned officers, past and present, came from the ranks of the conscripted, and most would not otherwise have served. If conscription is abolished, where will the regiment find sufficient numbers with the potential to be future leaders? Not from volunteers. Abolish conscription and the regiment will downsize by attrition to become ineffective for its role. This is Bermuda's post-World War II experience. We are a small, isolated island community with a very limited gene pool, unlike the United Kingdom or the United States. Too often quoted examples of our all-volunteer military forces. There are simply not enough Bermudians born to fill the requirements of all the uniformed organizations in Bermuda, mainly police, customs, regiment, and fire service. To abolish conscription is not in the best interest of Bermuda and will, over the time, have a dramatic result. Bermuda will lose the regiment. All the moves towards recruitment solely by volunteers, are the moves towards recruitment solely by volunteers the response of an action group advancing to abolish conscription? This group has made many outlandish statements over several years and has legally challenged the concept of conscription on numerous grounds to the highest court possible. All legal challenges have consistently been lost. Conscription does not violate human rights, and it does not enslave anyone. The anti-conscription group should be given no credence whatsoever. To give them any credence is a serious error in judgment. A full-time volunteer unit will require substantial uplifts in pay scales to attract the number needed. It will cost substantially more to fund the regiment as a result. Taxpayers' costs will rise. This, too, is contrary to our best interests. There are over 35 countries in the world that conscript young people to serve in the armed forces, including Austria, Holland, Brazil, Israel, Norway, Finland, Switzerland, and Argentina. It is not unique to Bermuda, and in the Bermuda context serves an essential process or purpose. We will be asking those who have served with us in the regiment over the years since 1965 as officers, non-commissioned officers, and soldiers to join us in a campaign to preserve the regiment as it is. We will try to act as spokesmen for the regiment over the next few months to rebut some of the untruths and specious arguments that are being advanced, and to help the community understand how grievous the loss will be if the regiment is thrown on the scrap heap to appease an anti-conscription lobby that has no legal credibility. So again, we see the discussion in Bermuda. We have lots to learn from Bermuda, and if they are co-opted into assisting us in the formation of a regiment, we certainly can learn from their experience as well. Folks, I've gone over time. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the very busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day, have a great weekend. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.